It's Gavin Grades the Movies, and I'm here with the one and only Michael Rooker, being very intimidating right now. There's something about you that is just extraordinarily intimidating, which is why you get all of the parts that you get. How are you?
Helps pay the mortgage.
How you been?
Not too bad.
Yeah?
Not too bad.
I'm sure you get 1,001 Walking Dead questions, and I'm sure you're exhausted about it. But and we'll only stay on The Walking Dead for a little bit. But there was an episode, the last episode that aired was the one that focused on Daryl's past, and it was an extraordinarily emotional episode. How much of that I assume you still watch the show, right?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay.
Too.
How much of that was stuff that you and him worked out together, just as like characters going forward? Did you guys have moments where you're like, it's not scripted, but you and I know where these two characters are coming from, being brothers and stuff?
None of it.
Oh, really?
None of it.
So you, so as an audience member, you're like, so that's how I grew up?
None of it. Yeah. I think that's the writers and perhaps Norman, and they got together and discussed it a little bit. That's what usually happens. That's how it usually works out.
So as the character Merle, then were you happy? Were you satisfied with the past that they came up with for you guys?
I think that past, I was already gone. Merle splits.
Oh, I see. I got the impression that was something that the only person that he had was you.
No, he was talking about his dad mainly.
So you were gone, and
yeah, he was talking about his dad.
That was
making moonshine and all that kind of.
And
stuff,
that was
right?
the time period where you were gone, but you did come back.
I'm assuming, yeah,
into his life. Though
it's
interesting talking about like fictional pasts of characters like that.
Because I split, so
right.
We bring up in one of the season 3 episodes, that I've split and left him there, and so he ends up being the abused.
Yeah. So. Which is why he resented your character a little bit. Yeah.
But in reality, I was the abused before he was the abused. And then I left, and then the dad took over abusing him. So
would you say that the Walking Dead, where does it rank in your extraordinarily long list of stuff that you've done as far as like your favorite? Is it at the top? Is it something that?
Oh, it's up near the top. It's really it's at the top, really. I mean, I haven't ever had an opportunity to really explore a role like I have with Merle. So I've had 3 seasons.
Yeah.
To think about it, and to work on it, and develop it. So is
it because it's a show? And you just have a lot more time with it, or
that's exactly what it is. I mean, you're working. You're doing now. I think this. Wow, I don't know how many episodes they're going to be doing, but I think we did 13 or 14 episodes in season 3. I think they were beefing it up to maybe 16, maybe in season 4. I'm not sure, but. You have about 8 days to complete the episode, and then about halfway through that 8 days, you get the next episode. So you're constantly working. So if you're, they are not
right.
But if you are on every episode, that's a hell of a gig.
Sure,
I mean, you're working your ass off. Andy Lincoln worked his little keister off for sure for about 2 or 3 episodes, or not episodes but seasons, and it's tough, man. It's tough. It's a 7-day week.
Yeah. So. Because you enjoyed it, would you do another show, or would you?
How do you know I enjoyed it?
Huh? Oh, that's true. Well, I mean, you said it ranked toward the top.
Yeah.
Okay. So
creatively.
Okay, then forget that. Would you do another show?
I'm not insinuating that I didn't enjoy it. I actually did enjoy it. I like work. I'm a worker, and I really dig it. I don't mind working 7 days a week.
Okay.
It was fine with me, and I enjoyed the whole process of giving notes to the writers. The writers write, and we see it, and then we like, but it'd be cool if this would happen. How about this? Can this happen? Stuff like that. So we are allowed to, and they, the writers and the producers, are wanting our feedback. So
right.
It was a great process. It was definitely a very, very collaborative process.
Would you do another TV show?
Sure.
Yeah, you would.
Oh yeah, sure.
So let's talk about a lot of the things that you've done. They're villains. They're bad guys, and or at least the really, really memorable ones. For me,
maybe the ones
the
that
really
stick
the
in
one
your
that
head.
the one that shakes me. And the last time you and I talked, we talked about it is Henry, from Henry, the Portrait of a Serial Killer, which is one of the most effective horror films ever made. And it's purely because of, well, one, the way that it was done, but your performance. And do you think that it is more fun playing bad guys, or do you enjoy playing good guys?
I don't even characterize them as bad and good. So
like every time you play a bad guy, is it just a character where you don't judge the character at all?
Pretty much.
Even Henry?
No, Henry wasn't. I mean, Henry was just Henry. You know, he had a lot of issues.
Yes,
that
he
guy.
did. That's a very delicate way of saying it.
Yeah, a lot of issues. But it was great. It was a great role for me. You know, that was really my first film role that had any sort of through line. I had done tiny little bit parts here and there, but nothing that had any real
like meat on it.
No, just little bursts of interesting things.
Yeah.
But this Henry was a kind of it was a whole movie.
It's interesting because even in movies like JFK, which is another one of my favorite movies that you were in, your character is one of the good guys, you know, and for some reason, maybe it is just because Henry affected me so much when I saw it, that everything I've seen since, but even in JFK, your character comes across as this guy where you don't really know where he's coming from. And there are times where, because you know your character does kind of dramatically quit, you know, in that movie, and it's you know a good scene, and it's like, yeah, well that's Michael Rooker, you know, that's exactly what I was, you know, hoping I would get from that. I mean, is there something about all of the characters that you think have something in common like that?
Yeah, the thing I enjoy not bringing out is everything. So that you know exactly where I'm coming from, that you know all the answers. If you walk away from a film that I'm in and watching my role in this film, and you have more questions than answers, then I've done my job.
I mean, it's funny you say that, because almost every movie you do, that is exactly what I think about, which is why, going back to The Walking Dead, it was interesting to have, like, finding pieces of backstory, because a lot of the characters that you do have that, well, where's that guy coming from? You know, what happened to him that made him so jumpy? You know,
I preferred if they didn't bring out a lot of backstory. Let it be. I mean, you've already used your imagination to figure out where you think Merle is coming from. That's okay, and the cameraman may have his opinion as well, and they may be vastly different. So I don't mind that.
Where does that come from? Like was when you were growing up?
It comes from you, I think. It comes from your imagination, and when you're viewing something that I'm doing, or any actor, for that matter, if there's some ambiguity going on, or some mystery going on, you're going to fill it in with your own brain, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So now you're a participant in the making of this film. And so it's kind of a cool way to get the audience and the viewer involved.
To approach a character with a little bit of guarded, a little mystery and stuff like that. It really is cool.
Well, otherwise it'd be a soap opera, daytime soap opera, where everything is explained. You get all the exposition, and they're doing a little monologue, and they explain, and then he came into the room, and I felt really sad.